There's only so much you can learn in one place. The more that you wait, the more time that you waste.
All right, beautiful humans. Welcome. Today is our Shop With Me day. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be here with you, whether you're catching this live or circling back for the replay. Because we get to shop. I get to transparently and openly share with you the different ways that you can get more of me, to get more inside of my world in kind of different ways. I get to share a little bit more about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and a little bit of kind of how I got here too, and also why it's important to me. You know, I don't subscribe to being like, you should do this, but I haven't done it myself, right? So everything that I'm sharing with you today are major components to of what have supported me in who I have become and who I continue to become, and the kind of different tools and ways that have really supported me on my journey. And it's an honor to be able to, you know, to also be able to be in a place where I can also share these tools with you and to shop. Because the truth is, we love shopping. Do we not? Yes, sometimes we have blocks around our worthiness, around investing in ourselves, especially when we're investing into the unknown of our future, right? It's one thing to be like, I'm gonna go shopping, and yes, like it's a little bit of a stretch for me to buy these boots or this jacket or this top or this dress or whatever, but I know exactly what I'm getting. It's this shoe. But even then you can bring in the element of like, well, actually, I don't know how often I'm going to wear these shoes. I don't know the durability. You know, there's always variables. But especially when it comes to kind of like self-development, there can be a question mark of like, well, I don't know exactly what's going to come of this. And this is when we get to really lean into our trust. There's no self-investment I have ever made that hasn't been some kind of activation from the very beginning. An activation of my self-worth, my activation in my ability to hold you know, this truth of, yes, I want to invest in this, in myself, in my future, in my growth, in my journey, in my expansion, and who I desire to become. And yes, others may question me, but I don't care because this is what I want for me. And I feel some kind of energy. I feel some kind of like exhilaration. I maybe even feel some kind of fear, right? Fear is excitement without the breath. So just notice how when I'm sharing these things with you, how you feel inside of your body, how you feel inside of your body, like, oh my God, yes, like that feels like it would be so expansive for me. Yes, that feels like somehow feels like an answer to my prayer. What was something I've been wanting. And I didn't even realize that this was it. This is God answering my prayer. So let's go shopping. Let's go shopping in the world of Destiny with Danielle, in the world of me and what I have to offer you in this moment. And I'm going to share with you a couple of the things, the main things that I have to offer you right now. And then at the end, I'm going to offer you our special The Art of Letting Go exclusive offer. And this offer will end the end of September 2024. I feel like it's like 2024, you know, you never know. Somebody might be like, well, you didn't specify the year. So I thought I had 5 years. The end of September 2024. All right. So and yeah, I'm really excited. You know, I know with some of you we've had conversations about one-on-one support for a while in multiple different ways and different contexts. And so, especially if that is something you are interested in, make sure you catch this special offer. So, let me pull up my notes. Okay, so the first thing I want to share with you is my membership. So this is where this is the portal of expansion. And this is where you get to really create space for yourself, where you get to say yes to yourself every day, ideally, right? It's you choosing to just energetically, right? There may not be clarity of exactly where you're desiring to go, but you just desire to expand yourself. You desire a place and a space and a practice and the tools to be able to move your energy, to be able to begin to, through moving your energy and through showing up for yourself regularly and ideally daily, you're shifting your subconscious relationship with yourself, with your reality, and therefore ultimately with your relationships. And what I suggest, but I don't force because you have to decide for yourself, is that you commit to a daily practice. So inside of this portal, there's 50 plus recordings right now, and it's continuing to grow as we have our monthly live sessions as well. And I also add little bonuses in there. But what I suggest you do, because I know it can be overwhelming, like, oh my God, there's so many practices. I want to try all the different practices, and oh, this one for prosperity, and this one for letting go, and this one for the royal reset, and this one for disease prevention, and this one for, and this one for stress, and this one for auric amplification, and there's so many things. This one for manifestation, this one for money mantras. You know, there's so many things in there. And even beyond you going in and diving into all of those recordings, is to find a short, sustainable daily practice for yourself, because that is when things are going to really begin to shift for you. I recognized, so in hindsight, so beginning of 2020, the pandemic had just hit. Everything that I knew, everything I was building came crumbling down. I moved back home, and I remember having a conversation with my friend, and I was like, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am beyond dance, beyond my epic 3-page long resume. I don't have an inner sense of self. I don't have inner confidence in myself. I I I'm kind of closed energetically. And I don't know how, but I want to kind of build that for myself. That inner self, that inner sense of self, that inner trust, that inner knowing, my voice, my presence. And I didn't realize until maybe like even 6, 7, 8 months after Kundalini yoga was like plopped into my life that, oh, that's what it's here to do for me. That was the prayer I asked for indirectly, and God brought it through this source that I wasn't expecting. And I didn't even realize until I was in it. I was already in it. I was already kind of like doing a daily practice. I was already teaching, and I was like, oh, that's what it's here to do. And I've come on and off, a part of the journey is also taking space from the things that we become so infatuated with. And for me, for a huge period of my time of my journey, Kundalini yoga was one of those things. Doing it myself, getting up at 3:30 in the morning to do a 2.5-hour practice and meditation at 4 a.m. And you come and go, you take some space away from it. And recently, 26-ish days ago, I came back onto the horse. I was like, it's time for some Kundalini yoga back in my life. Let's move my breath, let's move my body, let's do some of this energetics work. And let's just see, like, I just feel the call again, right? It's like, I don't know all the reasons why, but I am just feeling the call to do this. So let me say yes and trust. So I did. And so much, I mean, a big part of the reason I'm sitting here right now is because I believe I stepped into that daily, consistent, energetic, subconscious mind movement embodiment practice. It's given me so much. It's given me the space to sit with myself. It's given me the space to set my intention, put out my prayer, and create the space for the answers to come. It's helped me understand so much. It's helped me clarify so much in these like very subtle, unique ways. And I think the major thing it has given me, and I see that it gives others, is that it moves your chi. I'm now calling it your inner chi, your energy, your inner chi, your inner chi, right? So any of those blocks that we're having, Kundalini yoga, it's this life force energy that can and will kind of come in and almost kind of like crack it open. So this is why oftentimes, maybe you even felt this in our practice last week, was the high that you feel, because now the energy that was stuck is now moving, and you're like, oh, wow. Sometimes it's even emotional, right? Because sometimes the stuck energy is emotional energy. And so a lot of times people will ask me, oh, well, like, should I expect, like, I've heard that people get really emotional in these classes. Yes, because that's a huge thing that we suppress. So Kundalini yoga, I could talk about it all day and all night because there's so many facets and so many layers and so many levels of what it does for us energetically, with our chakras, with your connection to yourself, with how it works in your subconscious mind, to how it's getting into your glands and secreting your glands and your organs, and all of these. You can even get specific meditations like the addiction meditation, right? You can get specific practices for specific things as well. And ultimately, it gives you what you need. So even if I'm doing this prosperity practice every day, or even if I'm just sitting there meditating, doing a chanting meditation every day, it's going to give me what I need and what I don't realize that I need, through kind of piercing open those kind of like blocks or those unopened parts, right? So Kundalini yoga has been a huge part of my journey. And I've facilitated multiple, 40-day containers, 90-day containers, 120-day containers, and witnessing people inside of their journey when they commit to a practice like this, even if it's not perfectly every single day, it's profound. And so I've created the space so that if you are just desiring a space to say yes to yourself, to decide that you want to expand, to be a little bit self-paced and energized, self-accountable. And because the thing with Kundalini yoga, in my perspective, it's available to anybody. However, it attracts the kind of person who has ambition, who has a vision, who has a drive. Because how else are you going to hold your arms up here for 11 minutes while your eyes are crossed and your tongue is sticking out and you're like this, when you want to put your arms down, when you don't want to do it anymore, when it's day 89 of 90, you've been waking up at 4 a.m. every day and you don't want to sit there and do a 2.5-hour meditation. I'm not saying you have to do that extreme. It requires a certain kind of devoted, passionate, desiring to evolve themselves, desiring to connect with a greater truth also inside of you, that not everybody is ready for. And that's the truth, and that's okay, right? So if you have found yourself in Kundalini yoga and you're like, oh, that was a little bit triggering, but also kind of really loved it, there was something in it that really felt, it brings you back home. Ultimately, it brings you back home to your soul, to your truth. Satnam, Satnam, Satnam. This is our mantra. This is our base mantra. Truth is my essence. Wait, let me turn. Truth is our essence. Truth is my essence. So that is the portal of expansion. That's kind of the energetics. I am going to be sharing with you the page so you can, like, if you want to look a little bit more kind of the paper, this is what's going on here. You're welcome to do that as well. What else? Yeah, Kundalini yoga gives us the power of consistency and the ability to channel our creativity and our inner crazy. Because we're all crazy. We're there, but this gives us the ability to kind of move the energy and to shift it into a form that is going to be beneficial and impactful, ideally and hopefully in a positive way. So Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so what is included in the portal of expansion? A full library of all of these recordings. There's different guides, right? So there's suggested daily practices. So these are like shorter daily practices that I highly recommend. There is a guide, there's a section for prosperity meditations and practices. There is a section for auric strengthening, right? So that we have the capacity to hold more, not just be radiant, not just be beaming, which I'll talk a little bit about in a moment, not just be like, but to have the auric strength to be able to hold more money, more decisions, more energy, more responsibility as we rise, as we get into our power, as we become more magnetic. What else is there? There's full practices. So if you want to do like a deep freaking dive, there's 1.5-hour practices. What else is there? There's like meditation station. So if you want to just do a meditation, sometimes they're 20 minutes, sometimes they're 11 minutes, sometimes they're 30 plus minutes. And then we also have live practices every month, 2 live practices every month. One is a Kundalini yoga movement embodiment session, and the other is a contemplative keys session. So this, you can kind of think of it in the context of the art of letting go. The contemplative keys is more like our day one, right? We're having a little bit more of a discussion, kind of expanding our awareness up. And, ooh, I'm actually super excited. This month, what month are we on? September. Our contemplative key is on charisma, which is happening this Wednesday in 2 days from when I'm recording this, from when you're catching this live. So that's where we have the more discussion sessions. And then we have the embodiment practices, right? We're kind of activating the mind, and then we're moving energy, shifting it into the body, moving the energy inside of your physical body. And a big part of my work is this, right? Expanding the mind, not just being inside of the mind, expanding the mind and getting into your body. I've spent so much of my life inside of my fucking mind. Even in the context of, I mean, I was born and raised a performer, born and raised a dancer, and I was completely disembodied. I was in my mind the whole time. I was moving my body. And so the power of, there's also a couple movement practices. So I'm guiding you through some, one of them is moving your clavicles, freeing your clavicles, having, oh, this is like the perfect outfit to be wearing to be talking about this. It's about this. I think I might even use this example in there. Like pretend you're a peacock, but it's the movement is coming from your clavicles. You're doing a mating dance. You're trying to seduce somebody from your clavicles. So there's all kinds of different fun ways you can get into your body. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this last week, but your body is the final portal of release. So you can think you've let go of a wound, of a trauma, of a thing, of an emotion, of an experience, of a belief in your mind. But until you process it through your body, it's still sitting there somewhere. So just another added benefit of a practice that is specifically designed to do this. Okay. So that is kind of the gist of what is included inside of the portal of expansion. You can join for month by month. You can join a quarter at a time. So there's 4 quarters in a year. Wait, this confuses me sometimes. It's either every 3 months or every 4 months. But the idea with that is that you're actually giving yourself the opportunity to like breathe into the space, to commit, to show up for a practice, right? In minimum Kundalini yoga, we do a 40-day practice. because that is the number of days it takes to undo a limiting belief, something stuck inside of your subconscious mind. 90 days, you're beginning to root in a new belief. 120 days, you are really grounding in and starting to sprout the new belief. Okay, so if you say yes, you tap in and you're like, I stuck a pinky toe in, but you know, that's totally okay. I honor you and your process. However, if you want to really be like, yes, I'm here for at least a little period of time, let me really drop in, let me really commit to myself at least for a couple of months, that's why there's the quarterly option. Or you can also do it for sign up for yearly renewal. Okay, so even if you don't consider yourself a visionary or a creative or an overly ambitious person right now, I didn't either when I first started. Like Kundalini yoga just kind of came to me. It's like, oh, I was just kind of doing it. I was like, I don't really get what I'm doing. This is weird. But if anything that I said resonates with you, know that that is inside of you, and possibly through doing and getting into the practice, you're going to start to flesh out, you're going to start to uncover, oh yeah, I actually do have bigger visions. Oh yeah, I actually do feel the creatrix energy inside of me. Oh yeah, I do actually feel this like deeper passion and devotion to myself, to my evolution, to my path, to whoever I have the opportunity and the blessing to be able to serve and to be able to create with. If you already have a lot of practices, I get it. It's like, well, I don't want, I can't add anything else. I can't add anything else. Is there anything that you are additionally desiring to create space for in your life? Is it this creatrix energy? Is it to really move some chi? Is it to gain greater inner radiance, inner self-trust, inner knowing? It can be a 3-minute practice. You can do one thing for 3 minutes. That's it. The idea with Kundalini yoga is not that you have to get up at 3:30 and do a 2.5-hour meditation every day. The idea is that it weaves its way into your life. You can even, listen to the mantras, and it's very powerful. It's very impactful. So just notice if you're like, oh, this is too much already going on. Don't have space for that. Okay, but is there something in here that I am desiring to create more space for? And you're welcome to ask me any questions you have about any of this. Oh, I'm thinking about this. Would it support me in this? Or like, this is what, like, I would really like to, but if there's any buts, like, hit me up. Let's see, let's feel into, let's have a conversation together if this is something that can support you. Some of you may even already have a daily Kundalini yoga practice. But again, it's good to change things up. It's good to add things on, especially if you've been doing the same thing for a while. It's good to be like, okay, this is great. This practice has gotten me here, right? Again, it's that whole thing of like, this belief has gotten me to this point, but there's something greater I'm desiring, and therefore there's something that needs to shift. Maybe there's something that needs to be added. Maybe there's, things that need to be let go of so that things can be added. Just consider for yourself if what your daily practice has gotten you until this point. Is there any part of you that would like to expand more, that wants to bridge the gap now between where you were and where you are now to where you are now and where you would love to be? I like to change my practices up, and obviously I have my favorites that I always come back to. And I haven't even shared this inside of our portal yet. We also have a Facebook group, so we can connect in there. I encourage you guys to share in there, to practice taking up space in there, to claim your space, the totality of the spectrum of your expression, right? So you have that space, there's that pulsating energy of expansion just in your life, right? Because I know it can be like hard when nobody around you is kind of pulsating that energy of expansion, of destiny, of devotion, of evolution, of self-growth. It's hard, right? And so the space is designed where we can meet each other and like, yes, these are people who want similar things to me, even if it's not the same career path or the same place to live, right? We have this desire to expand. Let me lean into this collective energy. Okay. So I was not expecting to talk about the portal of expansion for that long, but it's a foundational piece, and whether, which I'll talk a little bit about more in a moment, but whether people are one-on-oneing with me, whether I meet somebody and we do an in-person intensive, right? There's always an aspect of Kundalini yoga, and I very often encourage people to commit to some kind of daily practice. All right. So there's two more things I want to talk to you about. I'm gonna try and keep this a little bit shorter and sweeter. Two more things I want to talk to you about, and then my special offer for you beautiful humans. So the next thing is this upcoming program. You may have heard or seen me talking about it, sharing about it in little bits and pieces. And this is something that has been, as I've shared about inside of the context of the art of letting go, when you're on your kind of soul service path, at least for me, I often find that the context, the overarching kind of umbrella, topic of something comes to me before I've fully fleshed it out myself. It's not like I have thought about this for a long time and oh, now, yes, there's the title, let's go. And this has been like a full pregnancy process. This sweet baby has, again, all of these inner conversations I've had, all of the inner conscious work that I have done with myself, the way I have gotten real with myself about the things that aren't working for me, the way that I've also gotten real with myself about realizing the power of my presence and my worthiness and how valuable I am. The way I have stepped into taking responsibility for how I have unintentionally hurt others, for, again, the power of my actions and how my actions speak louder than my words, taking responsibility for my energy and my very subtle energy leaks. Has really shifted, especially the past couple of months. And again, this is why I say it's such an activation, is because I almost launched this program like February. And then I almost launched it again a couple months ago, maybe like a month ago. And as I've recognized, ooh, there's something not quite fully cooked here yet. I'm like, okay, let me just be with myself inside of all of these things for a little bit longer. So especially in these past couple of months, how I've gotten real with myself, how I have gotten responsible towards myself, towards my desires, towards the fact that I am the driver in the limousine of my life. How how I am responsible for my past, my present, my future, my reality that I'm creating, for my communication, for my emotions, for my vision. And the way through doing that work, I have gained a lot of respect for myself. And through gaining respect for myself, I am able to respect others who I don't even meet eye to eye with. And through respecting others uncircumstantially, unconditionally, it just starts to naturally kind of come. It starts to naturally kind of come back to you. And so this program that I have been birthing, even the name shifted actually in this one. This program is so key for me, and it's very foundational for even anybody that I am doing one-on-one work with. We get into a lot of these topics: standards, boundaries, communication, trusting yourself, emotional intelligence, emotional processing, taking responsibility, all of these things we have these conversations on. And so I've decided to create a kind of step-by-step package program process for us so that we can not only come into our radiance, our freed expression, our exalted expression, but also to have that with a level of consciousness, with a level of awareness, with a level of groundedness that doesn't just have us be like, God, I'm so radiant. It's like, I'm radiant and I'm in my power. I'm radiant and I am aware of what that means. I am aware of the power of my presence, and I take responsibility for how I show up. Because I am aware of the energy that I give off. So what is the energy that I want to give off? What is the quality of life that I desire to have? What is the quality of life, of a relationship I desire to have, to create? And so this is where we get to really do the inner work step by step together, again, in process and in togetherness, in community, to expanding again in our mind and moving the energy in our bodies so that we can step into that version of ourselves. So this is redefining radiance. I'm sharing it with you guys first. This is redefining radiance. Again, because I went on this whole Kundalini yoga journey. Kundalini yoga is ultimately a practice of radiance, right? And I became so fucking radiant, but I was attracting really icky people. Like I literally had somebody at one point, an older man. I did like a free Kundalini yoga class, and an old man showed up naked with his junk like positioned to be on the screen. And so with my mentor, we were like, what's that about? And that's the energetic conscious awareness of the power of your radiance. Awareness of how you show up impacts who is coming to you. I don't just want us to be radiant. I want us to be in our power. I want us to be confident. I want us to be grounded. I want us to have standards. I want us to be able to communicate. And so that's why I want to allow us the space to not just become radiant, but to amplify our auras, to strengthen our auras, to expand our mind, to become very conscious and present inside of our lives, becoming real, responsible, and respected. Okay, so final little bits are landing for this. We're going to begin October 1st. October 1st, we are beginning this live round. Okay, so there's a price. It's $250 before up until September 30th. October 1st, I'm gonna keep it open for 2 weeks in case anybody's like, oh, that looks fun. They've already started. I'd love to join. It'll be $350 for the first 2 weeks until October 14th, and then it will close. If you desire to weave in a little bit of one-on-one support so that on your journey, when you meet your blocks, we can have a one-on-one session and we can dive a little bit deeper and you can get that personalized support, there's a special offer for that as well. Okay. $797. That includes 3 one-on-one sessions with me. And yeah, again, if you have questions, write me, email me, message me on Facebook, message me on Instagram, hit me up. If some of you guys have my number, you can message me there too. And everything is in US. Everything is in US dollars. It's just easiest that way. So a part of redefining radiance is that radiance isn't just for women. So I know at least right now there's one male identifying beautiful human here with us. So even if you don't identify as a woman, but you feel called to do this work for yourself, yes, because radiance, radiance, radiance gives you the ability to get what you want. Radiance gives you the ability to have the kind of impact that you want. Radiance gives you the ability to have people's attention in order to create impact. Radiance is internal. And another epic thing about Kundalini yoga is that as you're kind of undoing these traumas, as you're undoing these limiting beliefs, or we store it in our body, we store it in our face. Like I've had beautiful clients who have been with me my whole journey. They're like, your bone structure is changing. You look good, right? And I always kind of had we'll just call it like an exotic beauty, right? I'm mixed. But if you can see a picture of me before I started these practices, there's just like energetic weight. There's energetic weight, right? So this is, we do the energetic work and it's just like, oh, things are just shifting, things are just moving, things are just happening. Okay, so what is included inside of redefining radiance? So this is you can almost think of it as like a greater, longer, deeper dive, more immersive version of the art of letting go, right? So we're going to have 10 of these kind of deep dive discussion sessions. We're going to have embodiment practices. We're going to have a daily practice that I'm going to be leading us through. It'll be Kundalini yoga as of right now. Could change in the next 2 weeks. That's how it's landing right now. You will also have access to the portal of expansion during the period of time of redefining radiance, so you can go explore other practices on your own. What else? I'm going to give you prompts. There's going to be like in between module prompts to kind of allow you the space to dive deeper with yourself, to kind of life audit, I like to call it, with yourself, to get real with yourself, to just get introspective. It's an introspective program to allow you to then kind of shift how you're moving through time and space and how you relate to others, and therefore how others relate to you. What else? It's more of a commitment, it's more of a commitment. We have 10 modules, right? So you don't have to get to them all live. You'll have 5 months access to the replay. So you have time, even if you catch them live, to go back and be like, wait, I want to, now that I have more, just awareness of this concept, let me dive deeper into it. And there's payment plans. we love a payment plan option if needed. Okay, it is an investment because this is your shop with me self-investment opportunity. And if you're here, there's some part of you that is desiring this. And I never desire to create, pressure for you, but acknowledging that there's a reason that you are here. There's a reason you are listening to this. There's a reason you are catching this and want to know what I've got going on because you desire some of this. And it's an activation. It's an activation. Money is an activation, and it allows us to be able to have something, to be able to really commit to and say yes to something. I'm saying yes to myself. I'm saying yes to that version of me that I desire to be living inside of. I'm saying yes to my desire to expand. Okay. Moving right along. Okay. Okay. All right. Again, if you have any questions, I got you. Okay. Final thing I want to share with you, and possibly the thing that has had, I can't even say, I don't even know if I can say that, because what I was going to say is the single most thing that's shifted my timeline. I don't even know if I can say that because it was through the Kundalini yoga that expanded me into even finding my mentor. That's literally how we met. But what I have come to realize, even in these past couple of weeks, just after I started that daily Kundalini practice again, I said yes again to my mentor, to working with her one-on-one. And what I've come to realize, even in these past couple of weeks, is that the Kundalini yoga gets your energy moving, right? You're like, now I got energy moving. Now I'm here. Now I'm ready. Now all these ideas are coming. I feel so free. I feel so creative. I feel the life force energy. The blocks are moving away. But now what do I do with it? It's like flying a plane without a direction, without knowing where you're going. You may end up just wasting the fuel because there's no direction. So if you're in a place where you not only want to feel the energy and the life force moving and buzzing through the creative juices like in you, but you also want to bring direction, to bring groundedness, to bring focus in, if you are wanting to really direction is really the word. Direction. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be directing your life. No, I'm going to be, through you recognizing there's some kind of direction you want to go on, we have the ability to, in coming together, move. And as you're walking that mountain, you've got all this energy now, right? It's like you got fuel in the tank. I'm starting to hike Mount Everest, and all of a sudden it gets harder to breathe. All of a sudden, there's littler things, there's blocks, there's things that come up. You have the ability to lean in to somebody who has walked a similar path, and to be able to gain their insights, their wisdom, their reflections, their experiences too. I love being like candid with my people. They're like, oh my God, you're freaking radiant, you're glowing, you're doing all the things. I'm like, yeah, but honey, I'm also feeling the feels on the back end. I'm going through it too. And so I love being real. And I do my best to be real everywhere, even on social media. But to really get to share more of my experiences with people in here. Yeah, it's gotten it has helped me personally get out of my cycles of procrastination and self-doubt and into action mode, because you're catching the slipstream. You're catching a different slipstream through saying yes to yourself in this kind of a big way, where you're like, I want to go really deep. I want to go deep, deep, deep in with myself. And I want to have this safe space to be brave. I want to have this safe space, that one-on-one, intimate space to be brave. And when everybody around me is doubting me, when I start to doubt myself, when I start to question my worthiness, when I want to go back on the things that I was letting go of, on, you know, the dreams that I was saying, yes, I want to act on, you get to lean in. And I get to just kind of remind you and ask you questions. That's one of my superpowers, is really asking people questions, right? I'm very intentional about not giving too much of my opinion, especially when people are making big decisions, but asking questions to help you come to your own conclusion, your own inner awareness. And it's fun. It's fun for me to trust you inside of it too, inside of your process too. So, what else? What else? It's also just really supportive, I have found, to have a space where I can just be my messy self. Even in the things that were happening last week with my friends, and navigating this, this up level that has been the art of letting go for me, in creating Redefining Radiance, in the uncertainty of where I'm living, and my grandmother passing away, and all of these, like, we can get a little bit more into anything and everything that comes up for you, depending on the context of the container, of course. If you're like, I really just want to use this container to focus on this, great. If you're like, let's, whatever comes up, great. So just having that space, right? Because for me, I don't want to put that on my parents. I don't want to put that on my friends. I don't want to put that on my partner. I want to have a space where I can really, like, where I know, right? It's like therapy. You go to therapy and this person is here to hold space for you to just go. Now, I am not a therapist. There are elements of healing, of inner wound, of child wound healing work that I do often get into on a one-on-one basis with people, with my clients, with my super soul humans and clients. However, this is not a replacement for therapy, and I am not a therapist. I have a bunch of different tools that I can bring forth, but this is not a replacement for that. Just to be clear. The other thing that I really love about having, because transparency, I have a one-on-one mentor right now, and I'm also in a coaching mastermind, like a coaching business mastermind. And in transparency, love the energy in here. We'll get into that another time. What I really love about the one-on-one, but also this mentor and this mentorship container, is that there's more spiritual, deeper conversations. We're doing kind of work in all of the realms, right? In the energetic, in the mindset, in the physical body, but also kind of in the quantum. So I love having conversations with my clients about different kind of more meta conversations, even the teaching of, like, right versus wrong, right? Letting go of hierarchy and bringing, as they come into our conversations, bringing these kinds of things in, because this is what allows us to really kind of expand. It's really the kind of spiritual codes that allow us to kind of like, and it's fun to, I always say, people are like, what is one of your favorite things about mentoring? I'm like, it's like being on a call or in person with one of my people and like literally witnessing them go. I'm like literally seeing their consciousness and their brain be like blown and expanded. It's fun for me. And the final thing that I personally really love and embody in mentorship is the reflections of your blind spots. And I am very conscious to not give unsolicited advice, right? Have you noticed, like, if your mom gives you advice, if your friend gives you advice, if the teacher gives you advice and you didn't ask for it, you're kind of like, well, F you. Or like there's always, or if you give it to somebody else, it's never fully received because it wasn't consented. And so when you activate this kind of a portal, you're saying, yes, like I want to receive from you. And so this is when I can really get real with you. If there's something that I'm seeing, if there's a belief, if there's an inner child like, I'm gonna, with love, reflect it to you because you said, yes, I want to grow. You said, yes, I want to expand. You said, yes, I want to meet my blind spots. So that's always fun too. Okay, so again, the beauty of one-on-one is that it's personalized. Anything and everything that comes up as you're walking your path, you have this ability to lean in. You get to choose how to show up in your life in a bigger, bolder, more authentic way. And just think about, maybe you've never done mentorship before, but even the context of like your classes at school when there's many, many people in there versus like you sit down with one of your teachers for a conference, for a little conversation, for, to just get a little bit more feedback or, asking more questions or whatever it is. There's just a different energy. It's very grounding and you really feel like you're seen on a human level, but on a human level who is like walking a certain path. So it's not a human level where you become a victim or a human level where it's like, oh, like, woe is me. It's like, yes, feel your feels. I'm fucking here for the feels. But being human and being a super soul at the same time. So I'm here to hold you in both. And inside of your humanness, not forgetting the truth of who you really are and what you are really moving towards. Okay, so when I do one-on-one, it's bespoke, right? We can get on a call and we can curate your own kind of package based off of where you're at, how many calls you want a month, if you want, messaging support, which I'm realizing that is just, it's such a powerful thing. Right now, I actually have a call with my mentor later today. However, this portal we've activated is like mostly messaging. And the amount that we move through every day, that I'm able to move through every day in all of the little blocks that come up inside of the humanness of it all and also inside of like the quantum business destiny path. It's like I probably would have self-sabotaged myself out of this by now. I can't say for certain, but even if I hadn't, I would have a very different energy. There would be a very different, less certain way I was showing up, I feel, because I know how I used to be. even a couple weeks ago. So I really can't express the power of you know, even just what one-on-one has done for me in my evolution, in my process. I've been working with the same mentor for, I think we discovered like either 2 or 3 years at this point. And I think about all of the major life decisions I made. Well, she wasn't there for all of them. But this was a huge one at the beginning. This was a huge one at the start of my path that has led me, to living in Tulum, that led me to, it's all sequential, right? It's not linear, but it's all sequential. And it led me to saying yes to this $10,000 2-week last minute trip to Europe, which is where I connected with one of my spiritual teachers, and also where I met the person who would recommend me to Tulum and get me the place where she stayed. And for 6 months I was there living in that space. So what am I trying to say? Every time I have invested in myself, and it's like I didn't even really know why I wanted to go to Tulum. I just wanted to be somewhere warm. I didn't want to be living at my parents' house anymore. I needed something new, and I'd heard it was great. All the objections that came in inside of me, but also inside of my family and people around me. That's not a safe place, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, anytime I have trusted myself, even though I couldn't be fully certain what it was going to get me, what the heck, I'm going to invest like such a large amount of my money into this 2-week trip to Europe. That feels freaking crazy. That felt freaking nutso to me in that moment, in the middle of the pandemic. So many complications, but I was just like, no. Like, I know I need to do this. I know this is, I don't know why, but I know this is gonna do something for me. And it's ultimately what has led me on my whole spiritual journey, which has then allowed me to, you know, create Redefining Radiance, which has allowed me to show up here, right? So it's all sequential through me. Every time I invest in myself, every time I say yes to myself, especially when it involves me, you know, investing financially into the unknown, into self-development, it not only gives you so much in that moment because it's an activation, and inside of that like actual thing, like me being in Tulum, but it's going to continue to feed myself, my journey, my awareness, my development, my life for years and years and years. So I invite you to lean into that. Lean into that. The like, ooh, that energy inside of you. Okay. So I'm not going to talk too much about one-on-one, like what's included, because it is so kind of bespoke, and we get to create it based off of your wants, your needs, your desires. Okay, so if that's something you want, let me know. We can have more conversation. However, what I want to offer you right now is the exclusive The Art of Letting Go offer, which is everything I just shared with you. You get the membership. So you get that Kundalini yoga portal. Remember I was talking about that a little while ago? The Kundalini yoga container, where we're also having monthly deep dive discussions. You also have that space. That's the really foundational, I call it energetic cross training. Energetic cross training. So you get that element. You're going to also get this incoming Redefining Radiance program, which I'm so freaking excited about. And you're also going to get a one-on-one package with me. And so, yeah, so you're gonna have all of it. You're gonna have all of these things. Well, except for you get all facets of myself except for the one-on-one intensives. If you want to talk one-on-one intensive, if you want to meet me in person somewhere in the world, whether it's where you are, whether it's in Tulum, whether it's in LA, whether it's where you are, that's something we can talk about separately. That shit is like next level. It's truly next level to be in person with somebody who you are kind of like just desiring to be in time and space with, because you get to pick up on their energy beyond just like calls, beyond just words. It's like I can't really even speak to it, but it's time and time again I recognize how insanely palpable and powerful it is to be in person with me, with somebody. Okay, but again, all of this, right? So the Kundalini, the portal of expansion per quarter is valued currently at, I was going to say 1,000, $111. The radiant, the radiant one is what it was called. Redefining radiance is $350. One-on-one mentorship is typically 1,000 per month. And inside of that, you get some calls and you get weekly, 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday, messaging support. Again, depending on kind of like what we decide the package is, but that's kind of the context of it. And so the total value of all of that together is, wait, I have it actually somewhere. Let me just put it in. Let me just put it in. So what I like to do with the mentorship as well is I like to suggest 3 months. So what I'm offering you right now is going to be 3 months. So that's 3,000 plus 350 plus 111 equals 3,461. Now, I am going to be offering this to you for 1,850 US dollars, which means you are saving over $1,600 if you say yes to this package. And again, this is why I was saying, like, I'm like questioning my intuition. I'm like, but why? But why? It doesn't matter. I'm leaning into trust. I want to offer this to you right now. This feels exciting for me. This feels expansive for me to offer to you. And you have 2 weeks from this day. So you have until the end of September 2024 to say yes to this offer. So you're getting all of this. And I'm going to also send you a little landing page that I have made for you, just for you, which has the breakdown. So you can see everything I've just said, like, boom, paper, got it. So that includes 6 one-on-one sessions with me. That includes over the 3 months, Monday to Thursday messaging support. So you can message me as many times as you want in there about things that are coming up, things you're moving through, questions you have, whatever. A personalized a personalized embodiment practice. So like a suggested practice based off of where you're desiring to direct yourself towards, the dreams, the desires, the destiny even. And it's okay, even if you don't know exactly where you're going. I would say, like, I was pretty wishy-washy until very recently with my mentor. Like, I was never fully all in with my like business. So even just like navigating relationship, like I entered my first relationship through through the work that I did with her one-on-one and like getting in touch with myself and my body, in my confidence, in my worth, you know, my community, all of these things. So I digress. Let me just come to this page if there's anything else. Oh, I'm also giving you the ability to double up your session. So if you're like, these are 60 to 75-minute long sessions, if you would like to double it up and do like a deeper dive 2.5 hour day, and we can do like a little break in between, that can be really supportive too, right? So you also have that opportunity. Plus you have full access to Redefining Radiance, which includes the 10 modules. It includes all of those things I talked about. Plus it includes all of those Kundalini yoga recordings. It includes the portal of expansion for the time that for ease right now, I'm going to say it's through December 31st, because that's 3 months. Now, if you're like, yes, I want this, but I can't pay in full right now, no problem. 1850, we've got payment plan options. And how that will work is I've got a suggested one on the landing page. If you need another one, we can discuss options. But what will happen is you will get access to Redefining Radiance. You will get instant access to the portal of expansion. And once your payments are complete, then we will begin the one-on-one work. And that can be kind of fun to be like, okay, we're building up the energy, we're building up the energy. And then when the payment's complete, feeling the magic of like, oh shit, like, yes, now this is the time. Okay, so that's what I have to offer you. 1850 for all of that, saving. It's almost like you could, if you want, you know, you can almost, it's like almost 50% off what all of that would cost, with what all of that is valued at. And I'm only offering this to you guys for this little period of time. So if you have any questions, let me know. There's a little bit more like specifics, a little bit more details inside of the landing page, but even beyond that, you know, blogs that are coming out, you're like, I really want this, but like I have this question, or I have this doubt, or like I have this fear, like bring it forth, speak it into existence. Let's see if this is something that's going to work for you. Again, I know there's some of you who have been like, we've had the one-on-one conversations, and maybe this is like the opportunity for you to be like, oh yes, this is it. Maybe it is. I would love that. I would love that. You know, there's really nothing. There's really nothing like getting to be of service to others, to be able to hold space for others, to be able to witness others on their path, to be able to share my life experiences, my insights, my wisdom, my process with those who desire to strut this path together, to strut this path with a machete as we're bushwhacking together. So if you feel connected to me in my totality of meanness, let's chat. You have the opportunity to just say yes and purchase. If you have questions, hit me up. And let me see, is there anything else? I think that is it. That is it. That is it. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I covered everything. Pretty good timing. I'm pretty impressed with myself. So that is what I have to offer you. You've gotten little snippets of these different facets of me here inside of the Art of Letting Go. I am also extending the Art of Letting Go recording, your access to the recordings through the end of September. Because again, right, as a leader, I make a decision and I'm allowed to shift that. And as this program has kind of built itself out, it feels more expansive for me to give you the space to be able to have a little bit more time to really sit with, like, what I don't want is you to be like, okay, I only have a couple of days left to watch these. I gotta like watch it on 1.5 speed, which is a hack. If you really gotta watch something fast, you know, you can do that. But there's something different that happens when you're like, okay, I really have the space to sit down with this and receive it and be present with it. Then it's really going to land. And that's what I want for you. Whether you say yes to any of these opportunities or not, I really would love for you to take something, at least one thing away from this, and to really have something really land for you, to really, and maybe even move some energy, right? We're in the art of letting go. We're letting go. Okay, so now what are you going to take action on? The shop with me is an epic opportunity for you to take action on some kind of a way, even if it's just $44 a month investment in yourself. Okay, so I'm here to meet you where you are at on your journey. I'm here to hold space for you to say yes to yourself, for you to say yes to investing in your evolution. I am here to see you. I am here to support you. I am here to celebrate you on your journey. And that's a big bug. It's like this on my window. And it is truly one of the greatest gifts to get to do all of those things and to get to be of service to you on your journey, on your path. Because there's always like, even people who I don't know that close, right? I met somebody once at an event in Tulum, and we had maybe like a couple conversations. He was following my Instagram, and then he saw one post. He was like, yes, I connect with that. And then he booked a one-on-one intensive with me. And inside of the intensive, we started to really unpack. And because I was able to share my experiences with him, I was able, like, we understood why our souls connected on this journey, and how I was able to really see him and support him even when he felt freaking crazy in what he was desiring to do, what he was desiring to create, the kind of world he was desiring to step into. So the unknown holds the capacity for excitement and expansion and exhilaration, and it requires us to say yes. It requires us to say yes to the unknown, to uncertainty. But if there's something buzzing inside of you, this is your opportunity to say yes, to go shopping for your soul. It's like soul shopping. It's like soul shopping. Maybe I'll call it that in the future. Soul shopping. Okay, we have the human shopping where we get beautiful things like this kimono. And then we have soul shopping. You get to show up for your human and yourself and your soul in all of the different ways. Okay, so I could blah, 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 blah all day, but I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy, filled lives to journey with me. I hope you are getting some twerking in, our daily challenge. Don't forget, you've got that through the end of the month, and the winner will receive the person who go back into the featured posts in our Instagram thing, but the person who gains the most points, right? You get a different number of points if you post on Instagram versus if you share in the group. However, all is valid. Will receive a complimentary one-on-one session with me. And there was something else I wanted to say there. Wow, this bug is really moving fast. And if I can support you on your journey, I'd fucking love that. I'd fucking love that. All right. So, questions, hit me up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for journeying with me. This has been a beautiful ride. We have the portal, the Art of Letting Go Facebook group open, so you can ask me questions in there. You can share your realizations, your awarenesses, any of it, the realness of it, emotions that are coming up, what you're desiring to let go of, your dance videos, your twerking videos. Share it with us. Lean in there. Ask your questions. I'm here to answer your questions, whether it's personal things, whether it's, more just like on the concept of letting go. Do it. If you have a perspective that is different from mine, share it. I would love to hear it. I would love to be expanded inside of what my awareness is too. Okay, so Thank you for being here. Lean in the ways that you can. Say yes to yourself in a way that is going to expand yourself, that is going to allow you to take action and direction with the space that you are creating, with the letting goes that you are releasing. And hopefully, possibly, I'll get to continue to see you and do this cosmic and human dance with you and walk this path and strut this path with you very soon. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I look forward to dancing and chatting with you soon.